everyone, and welcome back to Unscripted Liberation Codes. After a 3-week hiatus, we're diving back into the depths of Mario's conscious channeling during his work commutes. I truly relish making these videos, letting my Gemini traits shine, ranting, channeling, and speaking into the wind, even if it means just babbling and rambling at times. I often joke about my smarts, but deep down, I believe that what I have to say is crucial. My perspectives are clear, sharp, intuitive, and wise. My understanding of astrology isn't just deep, it's unique, extensive, and above all, relatable. I strive to connect these celestial concepts to our everyday lives, making the esoteric accessible to everyone. Today, as I journey to work, there's a specific topic that's been on my mind, one I've tried to sidestep all of last week, amid the hustle of daily life and preparations for an exciting adventure. Very soon, I'll be embarking on a breathtaking cruise with my wife, sailing down the Panama Canal and visiting 7 different countries. It's more than just a trip, it's a celebration of love infused with romantic energy as we embark on our honeymoon under tomorrow night's full moon eclipse in Pisces. This voyage aligns perfectly with the themes of the 5th house: romance, creativity, and the joy of living. But there's a pressing astrological event that demands our attention: the Mars in Cancer transit. This alignment is profoundly significant, and its impacts are not to be underestimated. While I could elaborate endlessly on its importance, today I'll focus on sharing insights that are surfacing right now as I open my heart and mind to channel the wisdom needed by all who are tuned in. This week, let's look into why Mars in Cancer is a pivotal transit for our emotional and intuitive growth. As we explore these celestial influences, I invite you to open your hearts and minds, setting your intentions to receive and integrate the insights that resonate most deeply. Now let's talk about Mars in Cancer. First, we need to understand that Mars is the ruler of Aries. Both Mars and Aries embody the archetypal energies of leadership, entrepreneurship, pioneering spirit, and of course, the warrior mentality. They also symbolize conflict, war, and the tools of aggression, like weapons and machinery. Mars, the god of war, thrives on assertive, fiery energy. But right now, Mars is in Cancer, the 2nd cardinal sign of the zodiac, and a water sign at that. Cancer represents emotional depth, intuition, and the home. Mars, with its usual assertive and action-oriented energy, doesn't sit comfortably in Cancer's emotional waters. This creates a unique friction as the bold outward Mars energy meets Cancer's more inward, protective, and nurturing nature. Mars in Cancer stirs up emotional frustration. Typically, the Aries energy associated with Mars refuses to acknowledge emotions. Aries is often seen as too tough, too driven to admit it has feelings. Yet, Aries is deeply emotional, even if they mask it behind an egoic, masculine exterior. This internal conflict makes Mars in Cancer a difficult but revealing transit. As Mars moves through one of the most emotionally charged signs in the zodiac, it intensifies feelings and emotions we've suppressed. Cancer, represented by water, symbolizes the vast emotional and psychic field that connects us all. Mars in Cancer will stir this field, bringing to the surface irritations and frustrations that, under normal circumstances, might not provoke a strong reaction. But now, even small things may evoke a powerful emotional response, forcing us to confront these deeper feelings. This time around, your reactions to irritants won't be small or subtle. They'll need an outlet. You might find yourself suddenly overwhelmed, needing to express emotions in ways that might feel raw or unexpected. It's important to allow those emotions to surface and come out in a state of grace rather than repression. Before Mars entered Cancer, it was moving through Gemini, a period of intense mental activity. During that time, Mars made a powerful connection to Jupiter, amplifying everything. Mars in Gemini accelerated the mind, creating an explosion of connections and insights. Information was coming in fast, and you may have felt overwhelmed by all the details and realizations, especially about how you truly feel about your situation. For example, let's say you go to work every day and recently you've started to notice the reasons why you wake up feeling off, headaches, fatigue, or why certain people around you seem to drain your energy. Gemini's influence helped you piece together facts that explain these feelings. Maybe you're constantly surrounded by chemicals, or the ventilation in your workspace is poor. Maybe everyone around you is dealing with their own form of depression and it's starting to affect you. Perhaps you're not drinking enough water, or there's a larger issue at home that you haven't addressed yet. Now, with Mars in Cancer, there's an emotional weight to this newfound clarity. You're not just aware of what's been causing you stress, you're feeling it on a deeper, more intense level. This is the time to truly confront how these things have been affecting your emotional and physical well-being all along. One of the key things I've been wanting to discuss, and it's especially important over the past few days, is Mars in Cancer squaring the North Node in Aries and the South Node in Libra, both at exactly 6 degrees. Let's break this down. The North and South nodes govern destiny, the past, present, and future. The South node represents the accumulation of karma, both collective and individual, the past and everything we've experienced. The North node, on the other hand, is about the future, the unknown, and the next stage of our soul's evolutionary process, which we acquire through our incarnation here on Earth. The North Node in Aries has been pushing us for some time now to move toward our individuality. It's urging the collective to step into their own independence, to break away from any form of codependency that holds them back from becoming powerfully independent. It's about reclaiming the power of self. Meanwhile, the South Node in Libra has been all about processing, learning, and integrating karmic patterns, especially those tied to social dynamics. This includes the ways we navigate relationships, partnerships, and social expectations, all the ways we compromise our authenticity due to external pressures or the influence of the other. With Chiron also in Aries alongside the North Node, we've been going through a long, profound process of healing the ego. This energy is helping us embrace and activate healthy expressions of our ego, our desires, and our passions. It's giving us the strength to take action toward our goals. But part of this collective karmic process has been a deep, widespread repression. So many people have been suppressing who they truly are, compromising their individuality, freedom, and sovereignty. This repression often stems from a sense of duty, commitment, or a fear of persecution by others. Now, with the ruler of Aries, Mars, in Cancer, and squaring both the North and South nodes, we're entering a turbulent period. Over the past few days and continuing into this week, we are metaphorically sailing through violent, choppy waters. These turbulent seas represent the intense, pent-up emotions that many of us have been carrying for a long time. Emotions we've suppressed, perhaps out of fear that expressing them could cause damage to our relationships, our partnerships, or even ourselves. But this transit is telling us that a shift must happen. We need to reevaluate the boundaries we've set, especially when it comes to being true to ourselves. It's time to stop compromising who we are out of an old belief that it's our duty to serve others, to show up in a way that sacrifices our authenticity. To make this more concrete, let me give you a personal example from my own life. Many of you know that I've been a caretaker for a disabled parent for nearly 5 years. This experience has been deeply tied to Cancer's domain, which governs home, family, heritage, ancestry, and most importantly, the mother. Mother connections, womb connections are profound. There's even a saying that every woman is born carrying the eggs that their grandmother had, which highlights the deep lineage and connection we carry in our DNA, along with all the mystical and sometimes overwhelming energy passed down through generations. Mars also governs home, tradition, and memories, nostalgia even. Think about the energy that fills a kitchen when people gather. It's more than just a physical space. It's a sacred place where a collective unconscious harmony occurs. There's a certain phenomenon that happens when people come together in the kitchen, and it's symbolic of how deeply tied Mars is to home and family matters, which is especially relevant in this Mars and Cancer transit. Going back to my life, I've been a caretaker for my mother for almost 5 years now. She's severely disabled, and this role has been one of the biggest challenges of my life. It's been incredibly difficult to process the psychological and emotional turmoil that comes with being both the adult and caretaker for my own mother. The truth is, she never really was a healthy mother figure. She struggled with drug addiction and mental health issues, and even as a young child, just 5 years old, I was the one who had to take care of her. I was the one calming her down, talking her through her episodes, and grounding her. I was the caretaker even then. Now, as an adult, I find myself in this intense situation, caring for someone who's emotionally and developmentally stunted due to her own traumatic past, abuse and alcoholism from her mother. It's a generational cycle of trauma that I've been entangled in, and I've been showing up for her, giving her everything. I've provided excellent care, handled her doctor's appointments, cleaned up her prescriptions, and done so much more. But there came a point when the balance tipped. The care I was providing became habitual, and her dependence on me turned into something unhealthy. She became increasingly reliant on me to do everything, and it felt like she excused herself from even trying to manage her own life. At the same time, my own life has been expanding and growing. I've become a homeowner, moved across the country, started businesses, and run a nonprofit. I've gotten married, and my blessings have been growing. But despite all of this growth, I keep getting pulled back into caretaking. Then, just when everything seems to be going smoothly, something happens. An accident, a spill, the TV breaks, or she asks me to take out the trash again. It triggers this deep frustration within me that I haven't fully processed. I've been so busy, and honestly, I've avoided dealing with it. During the Mars and Gemini transit, things started becoming clearer for me, realizing that I need to look at these feelings and face them. And now, with Mars in Cancer, all of those unresolved emotions are at their breaking point. I've reached my limit. I find myself saying, I can't do this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. Why am I even doing this? Why did I allow myself to believe that this is what I have to do for family? That this is just what's expected? She's my mother, and for so long I convinced myself that I couldn't let her die in the streets, doing drugs like meth, and that I had to be selfless, showing up in the way we're conditioned to for family. But I've come to realize that this isn't sustainable. There's so much I could say about this, but the core point is this: I'm starting my own family now. All of this generational baggage, this karmic cycle, ends with me. My wife and I are building our life together, and I've had to free myself from the belief that I am obligated to continue being her caretaker. She's an adult. I don't have to do this anymore. I have to put myself and my wife first because my life has shifted. I'm married now, and that changes everything. I no longer want this burden. The mission is accomplished. I got her off the streets, away from the drugs, and helped her get healthier than she's been in a long time. But now, it's time to let go. It's time to allow her to move on, and for me to move forward. This Mars and Cancer energy, squaring the North and South nodes, is a crucial time. Don't be afraid of the rage or frustration you've been carrying for so long, especially if it's tied to home, family, or ancestry. This is the moment to cut the karmic cords that have bound you to old social pressures. It's time to realign with your destiny, to heal your ego, and embrace your masculine energy to carve your own path forward, the life you want to live. As we approach the Pisces eclipse, remember, things need to shift. They need to be expressed, communicated, and transformed. That's all I'll say for now, but I'll leave you with this. This is a time of powerful change. Don't resist it, embrace it. By the end of November, Mars will move into Aries, then shortly after into Leo. Once Mars enters Leo, it will retrograde and eventually ingress back into Cancer, where it will remain in retrograde for a long period. So we'll be dealing with this Mars and Cancer energy for the next 6 months. And it's starting with a bang as Mars squares the north and south nodes, changing the fate of our future and correcting karmic cycles from the past, particularly in relation to other people. There will be stages to this process. Before Mars goes retrograde, it will also oppose Pluto in Capricorn for the very last time at 29 degrees, an intense and powerful moment of transformation. By the time Mars finishes its retrograde and starts moving forward again, it will oppose Pluto once more. However, by that point, Pluto will be direct in Aquarius and will experience, for the first time ever, Mars in Leo opposite Pluto in Aquarius. At the same time, Mars will make a new connection to the north and south nodes, this time forming a trine, as the north node will have ingressed into Pisces and the south node into Virgo. The initial energies may be intense, perhaps rageful, or even catastrophic, but that's just the initial release. Moving forward, things will calm down, and the process will shift to expressing and processing these emotions. There will be moments of adjustment, healing, and eventually harmony. You may find yourself saying, "Wow, I didn't realize all of this before. Thank you for expressing it." Hurt feelings will be inevitable, but it's all part of the process. What's important is that we ask ourselves, what are the solutions? How can we fix this and move forward? So, over the next 6 months, just know that you and others may be more prone to emotional fits of rage, and that's okay. These outbursts are part of the awakening and correction process. They're part of ending old patterns and integrating new ones to create the shifts necessary for us to align more fully with our destined paths. Remember, this path is self-chosen and deeply connected to your authentic individuality. Thank you all for joining me on this journey today. As we move through these powerful transits, remember to embrace the shifts and stay true to your path. Until next time, stay aligned, stay grounded, and keep evolving.